All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about something that can absolutely make or break your project, your stakeholders. We're going to decode how to manage the people, the personalities, and the politics that are a part of every single project. So here's our game plan. We'll start with what I call the stakeholder problem. Then we'll get into identifying who really matters, and this is key, appraising their skills. After that, we'll look at some awesome tools for analysis, and finally, we'll bring it all home by turning that analysis into a real engagement strategy. Let's do it. Okay, so first up, let's talk about this fundamental issue that I'm sure feels very familiar to a lot of you. It's the people puzzle. I mean, think about it. You can have the most perfect plan, a budget that's locked down tight, a schedule that's a work of art, and things still just go sideways. So what's the deal? Why does this happen over and over again? And this is the truth, right? More often than not, it's not the plan that fails. It's a failure to get the right people on board, to understand their needs, and to really engage them in the right way. The human element. It's just as critical as any timeline or budget. So this brings us to the very heart of the matter, stakeholders. If you want to solve that people puzzle, you have to start by finding all the pieces, even the ones you didn't know were part of the puzzle. Now here's the official definition from the Project Management Body of Knowledge, the PMBOK. It's a bit of a mouthful, but here's the simple way to think about it. A stakeholder is literally anyone who has a stake in your project. They can be your biggest cheerleader or your biggest roadblock. It's that simple. And you really have to think broadly here. It's not just your boss and the client. It's your own team members, your suppliers, maybe even government agencies. It could be the public, other department heads, and definitely the actual end users who are going to live with whatever you build. You've got to cast a really wide net. But here's where we move from good to great. Just listing names and titles, that's not enough. The real magic, the real strategic advantage comes when we dig deeper. It's about appraising not just who has influence, but who has valuable knowledge and skills you might not even know about. Let's really zero in on step one here. Identify and document. Most people stop at the name and title, but you need to go further. You need to document their specific skill sets, their unique business knowledge. You know that quiet person in accounting who's been there for 20 years? They might have an encyclopedic knowledge of the legacy system you're trying to replace. That's pure gold. Or maybe that senior exec who seems resistant. What if you found out they used to be a coder and they've spotted a genuine technical flaw nobody else saw? When you appraise those hidden skills, your stakeholder list transforms from a simple who's who into a secret weapon, a catalog of resources you can tap into. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Taking the time to really understand the whole person, what they need, what their influence is, and what they know, it's not busy work. It's a strategic investment that is going to pay off big time as your project moves forward. Okay, so that's the why, but how do we actually organize all of this information so we can use it? Let's open up the Project Management Toolkit and look at a couple of essentials. First up, the all-time classic, the power/interest grid. It's so simple, but so effective. You're basically mapping everyone based on how much power they have to impact the project versus how much interest they have in it. And that top right quadrant, high power, high interest, those are your key players. They're the ones you need to keep happy and engaged with constantly. Now, if you're dealing with a really complex project, you might need to level up to the salience model. This one adds more layers. It looks at power, sure, but also legitimacy, like is their involvement actually appropriate, and urgency, how quickly do they need your attention? This helps you pinpoint those definitive stakeholders who check all three boxes and, you guessed it, need your focus the most. And remember, all this charting and analyzing is completely pointless if it doesn't lead to action. The whole goal here is to move from just understanding your stakeholders to actively and strategically engaging with them. This is where a tool like the Stakeholder Engagement Assessment Matrix becomes a total game changer. It's so simple. You just map where someone is now, that's the C for current, and where you need them to be, which is the D for desired. So take a look at Bob. Right now, he's unaware of the project, but we need him to be supportive. So now we have a clear goal. Or look at Carol. She's resistant. Maybe we just need to get her to neutral. This gives you a custom-made engagement strategy for every single person. And why are we doing all this? Well, it's pretty straightforward. We want to get more people cheering for our project and fewer people trying to block it. We want to build trust so we can work through problems when they pop up. It's all about creating an environment where people feel involved and heard, which at the end of the day is how you skyrocket your chances of success. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on.
Now that you have these tools and this mindset, think about your project right now. Who is that person who might not have the big title or the loud voice, but who has an incredible amount of knowledge or a critical skill? Who's being overlooked? Go find that person. Talk to them, because their insight might just be the key you've been searching for.